I go back and forth with the New York Jets because everybody and their mother wants Deshaun Watson. And I understand why, because Deshaun Watson right now is an elite quarterback, one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. Some people would put him in the top 3. But the Jets cannot give up a significant amount of draft stock for Deshaun Watson. It could set their team back. As good as Deshaun Watson is, and I know everybody says, well, it's Deshaun Watson. If you get an elite quarterback, he makes your team that much better. Absolutely does. But here's the problem with the New York Jets. The Jets have a lot of positions they have to fill. And if you're giving up 3 to 4 first-round draft picks for Deshaun Watson, as good as Deshaun Watson is and how he can hide away the deficiencies of some of these positions that they're going to be missing, look what he did with the Texans this year. He had one of the best seasons for a quarterback with no weapons whatsoever. And he lost Will Fuller at the end of the season because of steroid use. Will Fuller, no matter what happens next year or where he goes because he's a free agent, Will Fuller is still going to miss the first game of the season because he's still suspended. So just think about this way. If Deshaun Watson gets traded to the New York Jets, and it quite possibly could happen, the problem here is it worth making that move and giving up a significant amount of draft stock where it could set your organization back for many, many years? To me, I would not do it. If you're saying, and I know what you're going to say, Josh, you love this Zach Wilson kid from BYU, and a lot of people have spoken very highly of him this week. There's a bunch of executives / teams that think that Zach Wilson is a better prospect than Trevor Lawrence. Now, some people predict him to be a Patrick Mahomes-esque type of quarterback. You don't know if he's going to be Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes was put in a very good position when he was drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs. So Zach Wilson going to the Jets, is he put in the same position as the Kansas City Chiefs were when they got Patrick Mahomes? The answer is no. The Jets don't have the weapons that the Kansas City Chiefs have. They didn't have Travis Kelce, the best tight end in the league. They didn't have the running game, and they don't have Andy Reid. As good as Robert Saleh is, he's a defensive-minded coach. And Mike LaFleur, everybody says that this guy is the next up-and-coming big superstar offensive coordinator. This guy's never been an offensive coordinator in his career. He was a wide receiver coach over there in San Francisco. So we don't know what he is. So going into this offseason, the Jets have to make the right decisions. Joe Douglas now is running this organization. There is no more Woody Johnson. There's no more Chris Johnson. You got to go to them before you make the move. Obviously, he's going to go and talk to them before he makes a significant move. But I think that it's going to be up to him in where he wants to go in the draft, or if he wants to make that move for Deshaun Watson. So, Josh, what are your thoughts? Do you make that move for Deshaun Watson for 4 first rounds or 3 first-round draft picks where it could set your team back, or maybe just wait until the draft and make a move and bring in a guy like Zach Wilson?
No, I would not trade the 4 first-round picks or even 3 first-round picks. Look, Deshaun Watson has come out, I believe, this week, and there's been insiders that have said that he's concerned if he goes to the Jets, that if they do trade for him, that he feels like that they're going to lose everything they can to build around him. But that's where the situation comes in, right? We've heard reports, John McClain has said it, that they're not going to want the Carolina pick at 8. They don't want the Denver Bronco pick at 9. They don't want the 49er pick at 12 because they don't want also Bridgewater, they don't want Garoppolo, and they don't want Drew Lock. They want to make sure they want to get the second best quarterback in this draft. So that's where Deshaun Watson, the no-trade clause comes into play, right? And I believe I said this to you off the air. I really believe that Joe Douglas is going to find a way where he can make this work. And I also feel like at the same time, Deshaun Watson and Joe Douglas together can find common ground and go talk to the Texans and make a deal where they say to Houston, I'll go to the Jets. You cannot hinder their future for them to build around me. You guys want that second best quarterback in this draft. Some say the best quarterback in this draft. You cannot kill their future. They need to be able to build around me. So I'll go to the Jets. And if you decide to try to hinder their future, I will not go to the Jets. And if he doesn't go to the Jets, the Texans are in a really bad spot because here's what's going to happen. The Texans are going to have this problem. They're either going to, A, have Watson not come to camp, and it's going to be a messy situation. Then they're not going to have a quarterback at all. Or B, they'll try to trade him to the 8th or 9th pick or the 12th pick, and there's not going to be any quarterbacks left. So the Texans are screwed in this whole situation where that I think Joe Douglas and Deshaun Watson are going to try to do this together and negotiate with the Houston Texans because the Texans are in a no-win spot. Like you said, they don't want the 8th or 9th pick. There's no quarterback that's going to be there. So it's going to kill them. So that's why Watson needs to go to them and say, I'll go to the Jets. but you have to make this work with them and make sure that you don't hinder their future where everybody wins. They could build around me, and you get that second overall pick, and you could draft Zach Wilson. And that's the only way it's going to work.
It's so interesting, and that's why I wanted to get this piece. Actually, you're the one who mentioned the John McClain clip.
Yes, and
so
he's been harping on the Jets nonstop.
And Speedy,
he thinks the Jets are going to be the team that he goes to.
And Speedy actually got the clip. So, Speedy, play this clip. It's a very interesting clip.
First of all, I'll guarantee you the Broncos ain't getting Deshaun Watson. If they were going to trade him, which they say that they are not going to trade him, and he's never said anything publicly. We don't have a clue what Watson is really upset about because he hasn't given any indication. It's all come from anonymous sources close to him. But so he's going to be in it for the long haul. They say they're not going to trade him. But if he'll ever meet with them and lay it out for them, and then they lay it out for him with new coach David Culley and new GM Nick Caserio, their plan to turn it around. And Casario's got 6 Super Bowl rings. And Watson told us the last time we talked to him after the season, I just want to hold up a Lombardi trophy. And Caserio, because he won those rings with New England, can tell him, I know how to do it. It starts with a great quarterback, and that's you. And if they meet, and so far Watson has not returned any of their messages, but if they meet and they are convinced that he's in it for the long haul, off season, regular season, he's not going to retire, sit out the season. He would report with 4 games so he could get, so his contract wouldn't till next year when he makes $35 million instead of $10 million this season. But if they trade him, trade talks would have to start with the Jets because the Jets are the only team that could guarantee them the second best quarterback prospect in the draft, plus a whole lot more. Plus they have 4 number ones in the next 2 years, and it would take at least 4 number ones to get Deshaun Watson.
And the Jets have the best package that they can offer for Deshaun Watson. There's no question they do. But is it worth 4 first-round draft picks? I disagree with Mr. McClain over there because if that's what he thinks that the Jets are going to do to get Deshaun Watson, that sets the Jets back for another 4 or 5 years. As good as Deshaun Watson is, the Jets have so many missing pieces. Yes, they have a lot of money. There's just so much money that Joe Douglas is going to spend this offseason, especially when you can become like the Cowboys or over the last couple of years, the Rams in cap hell where they can't bring in free agents. There's no way Joe Douglas, coming from the Baltimore Ravens, coming from the Philadelphia Eagles, where he's going to put him in cap hell, the Jets in cap hell, where he's not going to be able to make moves for the next couple of years because he's got to bring in free agents to fill in those spots that he couldn't draft because he traded away his pieces for Deshaun Watson. That doesn't make any sense. Now, it does make sense trading away Jamal Adams and getting the 2 first-round draft picks that the Jets got from Seattle, where the Jets can make a move like this, where I was listening to a bunch of shows a couple of weeks ago where if the Texans do trade Deshaun Watson, it would make more sense to give 2 first rounds, 2 second rounds, and 2 starting defensive players on your team. That's 6 players where you can get 1 player at that significant position of Deshaun Watson's capability. So I understand why a lot of people think it's going to take that many picks, that many players to get Deshaun Watson because of his elite status. But I think it's crazy. If the Jets look at the big picture right now, where they think that this team is going with Robert Saleh and Mike LaFleur, and the Jets could be a year, maybe a year and a half away from being a Super Bowl contender with all the money that they have, all the draft stock that they have, and all they got to do is hit on the quarterback in the draft. If they decide Zach Wilson is the guy, or maybe if Sam Darnold is the guy. I don't know who it is. I know you don't want Sam Darnold there. I still think Sam Darnold could be an elite quarterback in this league. I still think Sam could be a franchise quarterback in this league if they put the right players around him. How are you going to put the right players around Sam if you decide, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to trade away 4 first-round draft picks, and I'm going to make a move for Deshaun Watson, and then I'm going to trade Sam Darnold away for a second and a fourth or maybe a late first round, and that's going to solidify where my team is going to be in the future. I think it's a bad move by the Jets. If you can get Deshaun Watson on a deal, make the move. I think it's a great deal for the Jets. You're getting an elite quarterback. It could really solidify your team in the AFC as one of the top teams in the AFC. If you're going to give away your future, I would not do that. And Josh, I don't care what you say, it would be a bad move by the Jets.
Look, I agree with you. I think giving up 4 first-round picks would be a disaster. Now, you brought up the defensive player thing, too. I mean, there's been even people that have said, would you include Quinnen Williams in the trade? The answer is no. I would absolutely not do that at all. And that's what I harp back on. Everybody's forgetting the underlying thing in this whole situation, and that is the no-trade clause. Deshaun Watson, with a snap of his finger, can instantly tell the Houston Texans, I don't want to go to the New York Jets if you were going to screw up their future. And then that is going to kill the Texans, because here's the problem. Now you have an angry quarterback in the building who doesn't want to play for your franchise, and then you don't get the draft stock that you wanted for him. So you're in a no-win situation. That's why I think Deshaun Watson, Joe Douglas, have to come together, figure this out, and make this work with Houston. Okay, and I understand why Houston is trying to figure it out. Because, listen, they're trading a franchise-caliber quarterback. Guys like this don't come around every now and then. The guy, obviously nowhere near the close to his caliber that came out was a free agent. That was Kirk Cousins. Other than that, there's just been nothing else. That's why I think Deshaun Watson needs to tell the Texans, hear them out, make it fair, you don't screw them over, and you guys get your future quarterback in place too, and I could build around whatever they have as well, where it won't hinder the future. And as far as Sam Darnold goes really quick, I don't want him because forget coaching. He's still making these mistakes that he made in college with the turnovers, and he's missing throws, and he's too happy feet in the pocket. And it could be because of talent. His receivers don't get separation, but he's overthrowing guys, and he's throwing bad interceptions that rookies are making. I'm going to trust Joe Douglas. I'm going to trust Robert Saleh. I'm going to trust Mike LaFleur. Because these are very smart guys in the building. That's why they're there, and I'm here. Because they know what they're doing.
Thank God you're not there. You'd scare the hell out of me if you were running the organization.
Well, listen, speak for yourself, pal. But in all seriousness, look, that's what it has to come down to.
I'm talking to Joe Douglas right now. I'm a part of the decision-making right now.
The good thing is the Jets are in a win-win spot. Yeah. You either could trade for Watson, make it fair, or you draft Wilson. You have a quarterback on a rookie contract, and you have a lot of salary cap space where you could build around the quarterback, and that's what NFL organizations dream about. The reason why Darnold also can't be here is because you have a $25 million option next year. You can't put all that trust in a guy because if he stinks again this year, it's going to kill the value even more than what he has. And this is a quarterback market right now. Quarterbacks are going out. The time to make the deal is right now.
Well, I will say this. There's no way in hell the Jets are going to trade Quinnen Williams. And the reason why is Robert Saleh took this job. One of the main reasons why he took this job was because of Quinnen Williams. And I think he believes that he can transform Quinnen Williams into a dominant player. Look what he did with
Which he already is.
Yeah, but putting him in a 4-3 defense, we've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks. Putting a Quinnen Williams type of player in a 4-3 defense is only going to open up the field for this kid to really dominate at the line of scrimmage. So I think it's a great move for the New York Jets to make a move for Deshaun Watson if it's not going to be costly to their future.